Hey, Nancy. I was wondering when your number there was gonna show up on caller ID. This is Tino Balducci. Remember me? From that last train to Blue Moon Canyon we went on? Yeah, I'm the one who helped you find that long-lost treasure.
I'm not sure helped is the right word, Mr. Balducci.
Please, call me Tino.
In fact, Tino, I'm a little surprised you're still in law enforcement, considering some of the unethical, if not illegal, stunts you pulled back then.
Hey, that's all behind me. Ancient history. Water under the bridge. So, looks like we're gonna be working together on this sabotage thing, huh?
Looks like.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I'm working on something that'll pretty much crack this case wide open. But in the meantime, what can I do you for?
I'm curious, how do you know Chantal?
Friend of a friend heard about all the problems she was having up there and immediately figured she could use my crime-solving expertise. So I gave her a call, we had lunch, we hit it off, and bingo. I got myself a new client.
How many clients do you have?
I have enough. I mean, you go spreading yourself too thin in this business, and the next thing you know, crime out the wazoo. Hey, look, you sure you don't need a hint or something?
Nope, I'm good.
Oh. Well, Chantel hired me to be at your disposal, so you know where to find me. Arrivederci.
Bye.
Hello?
Hi, Chantal. It's Nancy Drew.
You know who's behind the accidents?
Not quite yet.
Oh.
How come the entries for last year were deleted from the guest register?
They've been deleted?
That's what the computer says. Contents deleted.
Well, I didn't delete them. Freddie.
Ollie's daughter? Has she done other things like that?
No, but you know how kids are these days. Always hacking into computers, programming them to spread viruses and steal passwords and blow up the world.
I think that's only in movies. Besides, pretty much all this person had to do was press the delete key.
I still say it was Freddie. Last week, I called that Snow Princess game she's always playing idiotic. I think it hurt her feelings. But she'd just gotten done plastering me with snowballs. What'd she expect me to say? That felt great. Do it again?
The guests that are in the lodge now, did any of them stay here last year?
Let's see. Lou Talbot stayed here last summer, but only very briefly. His car had broken down and he was waiting for a tow truck. Oh, and Yanni, he was here last winter. He and his trainer, they were checking out places to train. They didn't stay long either.
Has anyone talked to you about the World Championship cross-country skiing competition that's going to be held somewhere in this area year after next?
That is something I am not at liberty to discuss.
In other words, the answer is yes.
I didn't say that. Why do you ask?
That would tend to make Icicle Creek Lodge a very desirable piece of real estate, wouldn't it?
If the championship is held nearby, which as far as I know, still hasn't been decided. You think someone's been causing these accidents to run me out of business so they can buy the lodge from me on the cheap?
It's a thought.
And a pretty nasty one at that.
Did you know that some photos are missing from the display case in the lobby?
Really? Last I looked, they were all there. I think.
The caption for them says something like, "Young and old have stayed at Icicle Creek Lodge."
I can't remember what they were pictures of, and I sure don't know why they'd be missing.
I'd like to know more about the accidents. I asked Ollie, but he said you said he wasn't allowed to talk about them.
I didn't mean he couldn't talk about them with you. Ugh. I'll give him a call. As for the accidents, The first thing that happened was the worst. The Faringdale family and Becky the cook all came down with food poisoning and had to be hospitalized. Somehow, the potato salad got contaminated, although Becky swears it wasn't because of anything she did. I cannot tell you how awful it was. All 5 people became violently ill at roughly the same time. But were they all in the same room? Of course not. They were spread out all over the lodge. Poor Elsa was cleaning for days. And the odor? Oh my gosh. Anyway. Then Carl Jenkins slipped on the stairs outside and broke his leg. Then Lou Talbot's window was broken. Then Elsa the maid's tires were slashed. Then the phone wires were cut. And then... Oh yeah, and then the Southwaites were almost overcome by fumes when gas started leaking into the sauna.
But the only incidents that you can be sure were sabotage were the tires, the phone wires, and maybe the explosion in the bunkhouse?
I'm not sure about anything. That's why you're there, to sort everything out before something else happens.
Is it true that you promised Ollie a raise, but you haven't given it to him yet?
He told you that? I can't believe it.
Meaning...
Okay, I mentioned to Ollie once that I thought he maybe deserved a raise, and now every time I turn around, he's all like, "Where's the raise you promised me? Where's the raise you promised me?" Doesn't he realize I have a few other things to think about right now? I swear, sometimes that crabby little whiner drives me nuts.
About Tino, I'm not totally comfortable with the idea of consulting with him on this case.
Why not? 2 heads are always better than one, and I find him to be very knowledgeable and kind of charming.
Do you know what he did when we were on that train trip Laurie Gerard arranged?
He didn't go into a lot of detail, but he did say that that's all water under the bridge. In fact, I insist that if and when you're stumped about something, you ask Tino to help you out. That's what I'm paying him for. Agreed?
Agreed.
Good.
You'll hear from me again later.
One more thing. Ask Yanni if it would be all right if I used his name and picture on the Icicle Creek Lodge website. I mean, when I finally have a website, it would be great publicity, okay?
Sure.
Good. Talk to you soon.
Hello?
Hi, Ned. It's Nancy.
Hey, Nance. I couldn't tell it was you because you're not calling from your cell phone.
No coverage out here. I'm in the middle of the Canadian Rockies, remember?
Oh, I haven't forgotten. Everything okay?
Well, as a matter of fact, just as I got here, the bunkhouse blew up.
Yikes. So there was another act of sabotage?
Or it could have been an accident. The sheriff is running some tests, and I haven't taken a really good look at the crime scene yet.
Nothing like starting things off with a bang. Sorry, couldn't resist.
A lone wolf has been hanging out around the lodge lately.
A wolf? That's kind of cool.
The handyman, Ollie Randall, is bound and determined to get rid of it. Says it doesn't act the way normal wolves act.
Really? Maybe there's something wrong with it. Something that would make it dangerous. You keep your eyes open when you're outside, Nancy.
Bad news. Chantal is insisting that if I need help, I get it from this police consultant she hired. A guy named Tino Balducci.
Tino Balducci? Not that cop
That's
who...
the one.
How does Chantal know him?
Someone introduced them and he charmed her into hiring him. And now I have to get all my hints from him.
Well, I'm sure he'll be very helpful. Not as helpful as, say, I would have been, of course, but very helpful.
That's all I have to report.
Good luck up there. And
Be careful. Goodbye, Ned.